Yeah, no, seriously, this place is windier than like anywhere. It's awful.
I know, as I was driving up just on Pima Road there, it wasn't windy at all.
Yeah.
A little wind shoot up here.
2 weeks, I can tell you that.
Right, right. Yeah, there you go, good one.
That moved a little, but that's all right.
All right, so let's hit a low one now.
Okay.
So we're gonna, your way. Okay.
And
And I'll show you just the real easy way to hit that stinger, that low one,
cool.
to get that ball flighted, and it'll work with every club. So
yeah, so pretty much like I said earlier, all I've really done is I try to move it back in my stance a little bit, and then just take more club and
yeah. So let's pick your longest iron, the 5 iron.
5, yeah.
Yeah, and then just hit me a low one, how you normally would, and then I'll kind of work you through how to hit it even lower. Yeah, there you go. That was good.
That's still above the mountain.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what I want you to do is just set up, and then I'll throw a ball out here.
Oh, just
Okay. Right here, right? So
yeah.
what I want you to do is, let's say this is the putting green.
Okay.
This is all green. This is the edge of the fairway. And you're going to use a 5 iron and hit me a little bump and run chip shot.
Oh, okay.
Show me that shot.
Probably be
It's just something going to land here and roll to there. It's pretty low.
Yeah.
So all a stinger is basically a chip shot with more speed.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
So what I want you to do is play it even further back in your stance. So it's basically going to be right off your right toe. So keep shifting that way.
More?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep, no, you're fine. Shut the face here.
Okay.
Okay, now hit the little chip shot.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, that's as low as it's going to get.
Okay.
Right, that's like a
I just
putt.
kind of bladed it a little. Okay, I'll try it again.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it going in the air.
Oh.
Yeah, so now the more speed you add, what'll happen is it'll start jumping and jumping and jumping.
Okay.
So I want you to do the exact same setup, but this time maybe go 50 yards, which is kind of close to that first flag.
Okay.
So it's like a bump and run. Yeah, so you pretend you're under a tree and you can like just punch it out and send it down the fairway. Yeah, there you go. Good. Right, so we're just going to add speed as we go, but we're basically going to leave the setup in the same place.
Okay.
So grab a couple more balls. I'm going to film from this side so we can see where your ball position has gone to. So I guess show me first where you were.
We'll do the Sadie one.
Yep. There you go.
Right here.
Yep.
Right.
Now show me like the bump and run chip shot setup. There you go. Now let's just make it go 75 yards.
Oh shoot.
That's all right. So as you do a little bit bigger swing, stand back a little, because you were in close like a chip shot. So play it right off that back foot. There you go. There's your low punch shot.
Cool.
So now that carried probably 75, 80 yards and is still rolling.
Right.
So I want you to, as you feel comfortable, add more speed. You can go to almost a full swing, but I want you to feel like it's the same, basically like a bump and run type shot. There you go.
Left it open.
Yeah, face was a little open, so shut the face even more. So those are kind of the keys. Once you get this ball, basically it should be right on that toe, right there.
Okay.
Then you want the face, let's see the face, you want the face to match up here too, which is effectively really closed.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, because if it was here, it'd be like that.
Yeah. Yep. And you can back up a little, you look like you're a little, there you go. And now do a little bigger swing and let's see. There you go. Right?
So weird.
Super low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very low.
Yeah, so that landed out there at like, 140 and it's still rolling, right? So
Tiger can seriously just control.
yeah, that's the stinger.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Does he put it this far back? I mean, I believe you, but
He doesn't put it this far back, but this is just a good way to start. Right? If you've never hit like low stingers or windy punch shots.
Yeah.
There was a course I played in Australia called La Perouse. It's right near New South Wales Golf Club, so it's right on the ocean and the wind is super windy. Normally it's like a driver sand wedge hole. and I played it in an Australian Open qualifier, and I had to hit 3 2-irons just to get to the green.
Oh my god.
So it's like 2-iron, 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 just
like this?
Just like that, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And so, as you can see now, you went from up here above the mountain quite a ways. Now you're underneath the height of the mountain.
Right.
Now there's
underneath that tree.
Yeah, there's yeah. So there's a practical, you know, use for ball position. So you say, okay, well, I want to hit a stinger, but I still want it to land on the green and stop.
Yeah.
Like these are so low that this is more like
these are screamers.
Screamers. Like you've hit a bad drive on a par 5, super windy, and you got to lay up. You've got a whole fairway to kind of punch it down the fairway. You can take your 5-iron, do exactly this, punch it down the fairway, and roll it up there. I use this type of shot a lot when I'm just laying up.
Okay.
For a couple of reasons. Number one, it's really simple. It's like a chip shot.
Yeah.
But for a more practical reason, it reduces the chances of me getting a mud ball. So let's say I've got 175 to my layup spot. Instead of taking my 7-iron and just hitting a normal 7-iron and having it land, because it's coming in at a high altitude, it's going to plug or it's going to pick up mud.
Yeah.
So I'll take a 5-iron and I'll do this to get me to the 175 shot, and then the ball skips and rolls and it has less chance of picking up mud.
Yeah.
So especially on wet courses, you want to do your layup shots like this to keep the mud off the ball.
Back, right?
Yeah, try it right there and then hit this one pretty hard. There you go. Good one. Right?
I still have it just a tiny bit open, but that's just closing that face a little bit more.
Yeah, so now what I want you to do is just move it slightly forward in your stance, so not off the toe, but maybe still back
Here?
by the heel. Let's go a little further. Like bring the ball more to the middle. Yeah, there you go. Now hit the same shot and it'll just give us a little more loft. It'll come up a little higher. There you go. Right?
I got that up pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So there's times, like let's say you're doing the math on a wind shot. And you're like, okay, like how far do you normally hit your 5-iron?
It's about 180-ish, 175, 180.
So let's say it's a 180 club. And you've only got 160, but it's a 2-club wind, or a 20-yard wind. But you still have to hold the green. So the one thing about hitting into the wind is spin is the worst thing you can get.
Right. Because
you hit the spin, it climbs up, it hits the wind, and it goes nowhere. So the way to reduce spin is to reduce club head speed. So you take the 5-iron, instead of the 8-iron, you drop yourself down a few clubs, and then you play it in the back of your stance, and then you do like a 3/4 swing, because you reduce the amount of club head speed, you reduce the collision, so now instead of a 5-iron, it's like a 4 or a 3-iron, but yet you're able to flight it into the wind. Because what you're using is the wind to help you hold the green. You're not using height and spin.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So this is where you mess with it, and you play it more middle, you play it way back.
Experiment this way.
Yep.
So like a 3/4?
Yeah, do like a 3/4 swing. Yeah, there you go. Now let's go even a little bit lower. And let's make sure the face is a little more closed.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. 3/4 swing. There you go, good one. Right, and because we've changed the ball position back, the attack angle is a little steeper, and then your follow through, while you're working on looking at the world sideways,
Right, yeah.
your arms are going to have an abbreviated finish.
Yeah.
You're going to come to the end of your swing sooner. You're going to hit down into the back of the ball.
Farther away.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, you trap it. So what we'll do is I'll show you how to do this also with like a fairway wood off the tee.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh shoot.
That's okay.
Oh, that's good for me though. Okay,
Well, sometimes the chunk, do one more.
Okay.
Sometimes the chunk there comes just from setup, because in your brain you're thinking chip shot, you bring the ball back. You might have been standing a little too close, so try it again there.
That is my one thing.
Yeah, play it even further back, right off that right toe. Yeah, perfect. Yep, there you go. Yeah, there you go, really good.
Look at that little drop.
That was great.
Cool.
So then this type of shot doesn't have to always be played in the wind. we started with a bump and run chip shot, right? This bump and run chip shot is also a punch out from the desert. It's a punch out from under a tree. It's a layup where you don't want mud on your ball. But this type of shot is also a fairway finder on a very narrow par 4 that driver, you don't want to hit driver because it brings fairway bunkers into play.
Gotcha.
So we'll tee off with the 3-wood.
Okay.
So tee it really low. But you're basically going to start out doing the same thing. So whenever you're practicing this, it's no big deal. Just take your 3-wood and do a bump and run. Hit it 20 yards, then hit it 50 yards. Then as you go, you're going to continue this way back. Put it way back. Yeah. Throw it way back. Yeah, there you go. It's like basically a putt. It's like a putt.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Put that one on the blooper reel.
You were just too close, probably.
Yeah.
So reach out.
Still be far away.
Yeah, you should still be far away, but set up. Yeah, there you go. And then this is effectively like a putt right now. There it is. Now just make it go 50 yards instead of 10.
Okay, I gotta like literally do this where I'm like, okay, I feel like I'd be here.
Yeah.
And then go that way.
Yeah. It seems crazy. It seems like it's way far back.
I think that's why I feel like I gotta be closer to it, but if I get closer, I chunk them.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Go to 100 yards on this one.
So wait, so I would be back here.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
This foot back here.
Yeah, I love that.
God, I feel so far away.
Yeah, just a little bigger turn and there it is. Yeah. So the face was open, right? The face was open because as you bring that ball way back in your stance, just keep closing the face.
Right, because obviously, yeah, you're getting to the ball sooner.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You could do 150 yards on this one.
This is so frightening. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. See how low that came out?
Yeah.
Now, as you add speed, it will naturally gain height.
Okay.
So that's where when you're practicing this, it's okay to see it come out at flagstick height. Or one of the favorite things I like to do is I'll try to pick off a flagstick with this club. Let me show you. I'll try to hit this black and white flagstick. Right. So I'll set up back of the stance back here and then just kind of, so it's coming out only this high. Yeah. But then what happens is after you've kind of practiced it and then you go to your normal swing, you add full speed. Right now it just doubled or tripled height. But that's a fairway finder, that's a stinger, that's, a wind shot. Well, so many different.
What I'm thinking about is like old McDonald at Bandon Dunes. Like,
yeah.
Like this would be so good at that golf course.
Yeah, it's another tool in the toolbox.
Get one just over the ghost tree hill, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the way down.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, so.
You can add more speed here. Setup, everything looks great. Okay. So good.
Oh, dang.
That's a stinger.
I did it. A piece. Did you see it? Something fell off the ball.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a stinger, yeah. So it all starts with the setup there, and then as you practice it, you're just getting contact.
To do this is I gotta feel like I'm too far away.
Yeah, you want to reach a little bit while you're working on this. I have a video on my YouTube channel where I teach this, and I get criticized a lot because they're like, oh, you chunked it. I'm like, yes, I did. Like, I had a 4-iron and I was demonstrating this, and the very first one I kind of drop kicked it a little bit, but then I showed everybody that it was a good way to hit the stinger. But even myself in that video, I drop kicked a couple early on. So it's okay because you're out on the range practicing it. But once you learn it, it's a really useful shot.
See, I'm too close. I can feel it.
No, that was a good adjustment. Yep. Yeah, there you go.
That is so wild.
I mean, that's a fun, fairway finder type shot.
I mean, unless I leave the face, like I don't square up the face the right way in the setup, it's
well, yeah,
right.
Right, it will, and that's how you play a stinger draw versus a stinger fade. You can play the same type shot with the face more square and it'll cut. It's wherever you put the face dictates the curvature of the ball. So the main thing is the ball position being back hits it low. Now, the setup of the face tells us whether or not you're going to hit a straight stinger, a draw stinger, or a little cut stinger.
Yeah.
You can do all of those.
Do you think I could do the cut stinger?
Try it, yeah. Just set it up a little bit more square. Don't
Okay.
close the face. And then hit through it just like you've been doing. This should cut a little. There you go. The cut turned into a straight ball, basically.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's how my normal cut is.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go back here again, and now we'll do it with a gap wedge, because it's the same thing. So I will hit my pretty much 9-iron pitch gap sand lob like this. I never basically set up to my gap wedge with a normal setup.
Right. So
I play everything back. I punch everything with these wedges because I can control my wedges that much better. So hit like 50 yards. Don't go full swing. There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Coming through sideways too.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. That's good. Good student. Yeah, so don't ever max out your wedge because you have another club, right? So you should never hit a full 50 degree because you have a pitching wedge. You don't need... There you go. That was really good.
So I actually have a question. That's a
Yeah.
really good point. And this is just for myself.
Yeah.
So my pitching wedge goes, well, it depends. Hopefully it'll be back to going 130 again. But somewhere between 120 and 130. And I can hardly ever get this to go 100. Like it's like 100 max.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to fill that freaking gap, even if I strengthen this. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if that's just my makeup.
Well, no. I mean, this is exactly what's happened is before we started this whole thing with your head looking at the world sideways and this ball position thing, you essentially scooped all of your shots up in the air.
Right.
Once you started to get past a 45-degree angle, which is around your pitching wedge, once you got to 50, you were scooping all of your wedges up in the air. So you lose a lot of distance. So you can probably hit your 50-degree now as far as you want this way. Not even a full swing. You're going to gain yardage just by trapping it this way. So let's just see what it feels like. You can hit it a little bit more full if you want. So even that was a little scoopy or a little open face.
Yeah.
So close the face. Yeah, close the face again and play it way back.
Gosh, it's almost like my old grip. Like, if
Oh,
I
right.
think about like this old grip, I feel like if I just get it on the toe, it's kind of matched.
Yeah. Yeah. It turned a little more, but look how far that went.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to start.
Yeah, that's out by, that's way farther than the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll start filling those gaps better because of you'll choose this technique. And then what you'll find is there won't be a big gap because you're not going to hit like a full out pitching wedge and you're not going to hit a full out gap wedge. All of your wedges are going to be more punched.
Right.
Because what you'll notice too is if we had TrackMan out here, we would notice the spin rate be the same or more doing this punch shot.
Oh.
And so when you're coming into greens and you're punching it in there like this, I mean, I've seen my spin rates in the 10,000, 11,000 RPMs, which is going to back up a ball considerably. But I'm also able to control the trajectory that much better.
Got you.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine.
But I took a divot.
Yeah, you're taking a lot more divots. Like you're making a mess over here now.
I know. No, and that's cool, and it's kind of good to like learn just more ways to hit this shot because I feel like I've always just reduced my pitching wedge when I had to.
Yeah.
Like that wedge could go 103 to like I said 130. It's
yeah.
Like,
well, like this is a perfect example. This 18th hole over here, right? It's pretty short.
Yeah.
But there's water on the right, and the wind is coming straight on us right here. You don't want to be going to a back right pin and then all of a sudden hit it up and the wind pushes it into the water.
Yeah.
So you do this, you aim at the edge of the water, you put it in the back of your stance, you punch it at the pin, it lands just left of the pin and it spins even further left, and now you've got a birdie putt from the back edge of the green.
Well, yeah, and when I was down in the desert trying to play, John Wright, he was kind of telling me how to do because I had just met John, but it was like how to hit more of those like low drawing wedge shots.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is bringing back to me a little bit.
Yeah, your best wedge players are like Steve Stricker and Zach Johnson. And all of those guys play their wedges. There you go. That was really good. Play their wedges in with a little draw. So you'll hear Zach Johnson talk about never overdrawing the line, right? So you've got an orange flag out here. If you play this little punch draw the whole time, you start at the other red flag to the right. You started on that line. It lands halfway between that flag and your target. As it hits the green, it spins toward the hole. So it goes like check and spin this way. So you're never overdrawing your target. You're always starting it right, punching it, and having it spin to the left.
Oh, dang it.
It's a tiny bit higher than we wanted, but that's still a good shot. And that's what you'll find too, is your misses. You're going to be out in a tournament round, and let's say you do that, well, you only lost 5 yards there.
Right.
Whereas the other way, it might have lost 10 or 15 yards. Yeah, really crisp there.
Still high, but it's...
It was hit. It was hit. The handle was in front, that whole thing.
That's
so let's finish up with like a couple of 7-irons, doing the exact same thing.
Okay.
Because on a windy day, you're going to have mid-irons in, because you're going to hit great drives, but you're still going to have, let's say, 9-iron. You're normally coming in with a 9-iron or a pitching wedge, but it's super windy, so you're going to need to do this shot with a 7-iron, and you're going to play it just like you did the gap wedge. Aim a little right of the pin, play it back of the stance, give it that little punch shot, and it'll draw back to the pin. There you go.
Hold on. That's still good though.
Yeah, it was compressed for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Close the face just a little more. There you go. Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's so weird. I just felt like I was going to stab the ground. That was a bad swing.
Yeah. You know, and when you're first doing this, you do. Like we chunked a little chip shot because we're not used to it. But the more you do it, the better you'll get at it.
Overdrew. Just didn't start it right though.
Well, you can see kind of what happened in your posture. You actually did this. You finished, and you can see where you are. You kind of you kind of went that way. So as you came through, instead of looking at the world sideways and staying here, your body went that way, and that's actually why it turned.
That's what I used to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So back of the stance, little draw.
Back of my stance. I'm here, maybe a little farther away.
Yeah.
See it sideways.
See it sideways, yeah. Yeah, really good. Nice.
Look how high I got that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and the compression there is
so compressed, though.
really well struck. So, all right, so what are your takeaways there? What was the light bulb moment for you?
Oh man, I had a light bulb moment. I don't remember what it was right now. What was my light bulb?
Well, when you were hitting those 3 woods as those fairway finders, that was pretty impressive because you hit the ball a long way. You just got to know that this is the type of shot that is huge for you. This is this is a 3-wood second shot into a par 5. This is a stinger off the tee.
Right.
You know, a lot of those shots.
3-wood off of a tee. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I just want to see if I can.
Yeah, really low tee, because you're gonna kind of be hitting down and through it a lot more than normal.
Okay, let's see. So if I'm here, back, I got it. Oh, that's my key right there, is being far enough away from the ball. Be a little further. That's like the biggest part for me. And then, you know, obviously the ball position. And then I still think just kind of working on what I am in my normal swing about seeing it a little more sideways. Yeah. It seems to all kind of be piecing itself together. Yeah, very good. You know what? I gotta check my feet. Yeah. Go like that. Yeah, you don't want to be so far that you lose that heel-toe balance. Yeah. Oh, that was good. Oh, shoot. So what that was you did it, we stopped hitting for a second, and you forgot that you were kind of doing the chip shot follow through, right? Oh, yeah. So that was kind of everything set up, but then your release was kind of more your normal release. Yeah. Okay. So as you rehearse it and you come in, do a practice swing,
and just feel like you're kind of doing those little mini chip shots. Yeah, there you go. And then after you get yourself set up correctly, then you can be a little bit more aggressive with the same type of follow through.
It's hard. That's why I wanted to try this one. It sounds so hard. Oh my gosh, why is that? See how hard the ground is?
It is very firm, yeah. There you go.
Good job. What'd you work on today? The ball, the tee?
We need a hammer. Not quite.
Not quite.
Yeah, there you go. So rehearse that a little bit. Rehearse that kind of that boom. There you go. There you go.
Almost.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh,
so one thing,
because like you can see the ball, I wiped it off, but
it was a little high up there.
Higher.
Yeah, it's just going to be practice.
Yeah.
But one cautionary tale, I guess, is don't fall in love with this. Like
Right.
This isn't your full regular swing. So when you come out to practice it, make sure that you're digesting this in smaller bites. Like you don't want to hit like an entire bucket of balls just doing the punch shot.
Yeah.
Because then you'll go tee it up and that's all you'll have is a punch shot. You'll be thinking everything's a punch shot.
Right.
So what you want to do is maybe divide it into 50-50, where you take 10 balls, set them aside. You're going to hit 5 normal swings and then 5 punch shots.
Okay.
And then especially when you're working on the punch shots, make them extremely practical. So if you're punching a 3-wood, make yourself a fairway between 2 trees. If you're punching a wedge, move your way around, like go for that flag, go for that tree, go for that pin, and change up your setups. Don't get stuck in your practice station.
Gotcha.
So it's almost like the practice station is kind of like regular full swing, looking at the world sideways. The punch shots and the stingers, those are more like artsy and more practical. Like I gotta punch it through that window in the clubhouse.
Right.
Visualize it going on that line.
Cool.
Really get yourself into the shot, especially on the punch shots. And then when you're working more on your full swing, you're more working on just kind of naturally coming through.
Yeah, well, I was actually just going to try to hit this one normal.
Yeah, good.
See if I could even do it.
Do it, yep.
All right, so here.
You did it.
All right.
Yeah, and then do a punch shot. We'll finish up with the punch shot.
Right.
But when anybody learns something new, it's fun. And then sometimes we just overdo it. So just don't overdo it.
Oh, what'd I do? Is that right?
It was,
Did I hit something
no, it was
behind me?
correct, but you chunked the ground just.
I could feel it. I'm like, that felt wrong. Okay, we had it really good with this 3-wood.
Yeah, you'll get it. Yeah, that looks good. Yep, then we just got to close the face a little bit.
Right.
But just remember that could be a shot that you need. You know,
Yeah,
it's a
because if I need the
slight
fade,
dog leg,
yeah.
you've got to hit that little fade. Or maybe there's a little bit of wind and you can't get your hybrid to the green, but you want to hit like a punch cut 3-wood. You just got to know that this is how you do it, but your options are endless for the different shots you can hit with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good swing.
Cool.
All right, awesome.
Awesome.
Good work.
Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome.